Welcome to Life Mastery for Women. I'm your host, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. I've been studying mind mastery and emotional management and energy work and its connection to spirituality for over 25 years. And in this podcast, I help guide you out of your daily struggles in life in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. Life is hard, but your daily growth doesn't have to be. Join me 3 times a week as I lead you inward on a healing, connecting, and creating journey. Let's go get that nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I'm finding you giving yourself a little grace. If you're not giving yourself a little bit of grace, then it is my intention that in today's episode, I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Now, don't get me wrong. I am like full steam ahead, break it down, get it in, get pissed off about stuff that's not working, get your shit figured out, and just like take off, push through it. But then there's times where you just need to rest. And there's times where you need to just regroup and wait another day. I have a couple of clients that are like on the fence right now and things are going on in their lives and they're like, oh my God, like I am not growing and I'm not moving and things aren't getting better and I'm going to quit and I'm going to like dive off the cliff. And I have a lot of patience for that. And I have a lot of empathy. But you know, when it comes to really recognizing and getting a full understanding of yourself, it makes a lot of sense to have grace and to just be patient. And it's hard. It is very hard. So, for example, your body is just pissing you off. Your emotional pain, your physical pain, you're just not able to do the things you want to do. Like, I get that, right? I rolled over 50 just last September and it's like, dude, is this really it? Like, is this all there is to life? I'm, dealing with some pain or some physical pain or some, spinning my wheels in business or whatever. And I'm like, this can't be it. I lead a very active lifestyle. There's lots of things I'd love to do, and pretty much none of them are indoors. And it is important to me to continue that lifestyle. And I don't even know what I would do if I couldn't continue that lifestyle, if I literally was not able to hike or rock climb or ride my bike or go swimming. And so it's important to me to have a little patience while I work on the healing aspects of my body. So we can use that as an example, but I think it's important to take whatever it is that you're struggling with and fully understand, especially if it's something that has been ongoing for a long time with you, that if it's been something that's ongoing, is to fully understand our lives are a cycle. It's like the tide rises and the tide falls. The sun comes up and the sun sets. The moon rises and the moon sets, and the seasons change, right? And so look at the cycles that a tree goes through. If you live like in northern Michigan where I live, there's lots of the poor trees, right? The wind, the rain, the snow, the sleet, the ice, the sun, the hot temperatures, the humidity. But a tree keeps growing. A tree keeps moving. And so today, this came about today because I'm working on my business and the next form of programs that I have. And my purpose on this planet is to elevate women out of their places of suffering, to get them out of their mindset that is basically wrecking their lives. And I do a lot of teaching around this. I do a lot of learning around this, and I do a lot of work myself, because just because I know the things that I teach and I implement and I use the same tools that I teach in my programs, that doesn't mean my life is perfect. It doesn't mean that I don't have an emotional breakdown here and there. So for example, today I'm working on my business and working on this new program that's coming out. And I have a group of coaching clients right now that are moving into a more advanced version of my program. And I'm trying to figure out like, what's the group coaching program that I want to be like the lead, where people would really get some transformation, some healing, some balance, some real understanding, and a real foundation of healing. And I think about giving away everything. Like, I just want to help others. But there's a frustration because there's so much to do behind the scenes. And so I think about my lack of skill set in the behind the scenes structuring of things. Meaning, how do I get a hold of potential clients? How do I reach an audience? How do I reach these women that are in suffering? And I work with them in a way that bonds with them so they understand what I teach, what I do, what I stand for. And then they want to join, they want to link arms with me. And that's what I want. Like, I want a community of women who are ready to heal, who are ready to elevate their lives, who are ready and dedicated to themselves. They love themselves enough that they are full steam ahead. And that just means that when I teach something and I give some homework, that they are like, we're doing it because it worked for you. It's going to work for me. So, and I always say, I will believe in you until you believe in yourself. Now, when we're talking about grace, we're talking about the lower vibrational frequency that you feel when you're just wanting to bury your head in the sand. You're wanting to sell your kids, burn your house to the ground, and get in your car and drive to Alaska, never to be seen again. I think I pretty much felt like that today. But I think that it's really important, I know that it's really important, is to do a couple of things. One, first of all, recognize that it's just a temporary emotional state. It's a temporary emotional state. You can't solve the problem from there, okay? It is an emotional state that somehow just got away from you. It happens. You know, we do the best we can in trying to keep ourselves balanced, and someone cuts us off in traffic. Our dog pukes on the floor. Our son gets in trouble at school. Our husband is late and you've made dinner and now dinner's getting cold. Whatever the thing is for you that kind of tips you off, is in that moment, in that hot-headed moment, or that moment of despair, is to say, wait, you know what? Jen says this is just a temporary emotional response to something. It's just a temporary emotional state. Okay, then what can I do? That's the next question. You recognize it first. Then it's, what can I do to just relax, to just get into a better feeling state? Balancing and managing our emotions is so vital because our brain goes down this rabbit hole and it takes our body with it. And when we get into that emotional state, it is hard as hell to get out because your energy is in the prefrontal cortex of your brain. You're in this fight or flight space. You want to run, you want to hide, you want to beat something up, you want to burn something, you want to, you're so sick and tired of it. But here's the thing. You have to think of yourself as, I'm on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm a 1. When I'm in that state, I am a 1. But the unfortunate part that I keep trying to do is solve the problem from there. So I get on the phone with Amy and I talk to her during lunch. I'm like, hey, okay, here's this thing. And I don't know. And I'm not smart enough to figure this out. And I'm going to quit. And too bad for these people. And I guess I'll just go get a job. Right? And when I get in that state, we have to stop solving the problem. So I need to say, okay, what am I going to do right now to just raise my numbers? And it all just comes back to self-love. And in this case, it's going to be self-grace. It's going to be just giving yourself just a little bit of space, creating space in your mind. So I have just a small list of pretty powerful tools that are working for me when I get into that space that is a very low vibrational state. So we're talking about depression, anxiety, overwhelm, feeling terrible, feeling helpless, major negative, angry, just in this state of chaos that I just don't feel good. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do first is to recognize that you're in that temporary emotional state. Then ask yourself, what can I do? And while you're waiting for the ideas to come through of what you can do, and I'm going to give you some of those ideas, is take a very, very deep breath. And here's the trick about this. Breathing is a technique that is readily available at any moment in time for you. It's your life force. It's your purposeful life force. I mean, this is your body keeping your body alive. And when we start breathing, it brings us to the present moment immediately. It makes us grounded. It brings us and connects us. Remember, when you see a kid or a young 4-year-old, something's really upset and they're crying, is the first thing, what do we tell them to do? Okay, take a deep breath. We don't even know why we're giving that advice to this young person. But we need to now, in turn, take that advice to ourselves. And we need to say, okay, I'm recognizing that I'm in this emotional state. It's a temporary state. I'm not going to solve a problem from here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to immediately give myself some space and some grace to just feel better. I'm going to breathe deeply. And here's what I want you to do. I did a podcast just a couple of days ago on breathwork, the power of breathwork. And it is something I'm very, very new at, but it's a little bit of a rabbit hole I'm starting to dive down. It just kind of came into my awareness not too long ago. And I'm really liking it. Like, I'm really liking the benefits from it. I'm liking the modality. And I want to just introduce this to you. And I'm not going to go a lot into it because you can go back and watch that video. I think it's only like listen to that podcast. It's only like 3 episodes ago. It's the power of breathwork. And I guide you through this technique that I'm finding to be very grounding. And I think when you are upset is the first thing is just breathe deeply. And when our energy is all wonky and we're all like flipped out, is breathe deeply into your belly and do like 5 deep belly breaths. And I might even recommend that you breathe it in and hold it just for a second, because it just really brings your awareness to your body and how your body is feeling. Then do 5 breaths into your chest and do the same thing. 5 breaths in, calming your heart, calming your nervous system, and getting you out of this really high emotional state and into a much more relaxed state. It's going to calm your nerves. It's going to calm you down in a very controlled fashion. When you get to that space, if you're like me, you'll probably want to immediately go and try to solve the problem that caused it. But I'm going to suggest to not do that, to just keep going. So after breathing, you go right to self-care and self-love. And self-grace is, what can I do in this moment? Now, for me, when I'm sitting at the computer, it's very daunting. It's very task driven. It's very like fine motor skills, and I really like gross motor stuff. Like, I love to run around and play and walk with the dogs and hike and bike and kayak and climb. I love like big gross motor things. And so when it comes to sitting at the computer, I can get very overwhelmed very quickly, especially when I'm in this creative state and I need to hone in on these skills that I just don't naturally have. And so what I will do is breathe in deeply and go, okay, so now I'm feeling much better. I'm a 5, usually within just the first couple of deep breaths, recognizing that I'm in that high triggered emotional state. I will just take a couple deep breaths. It really brings me to the present moment. Then what I'll do is I'll go outside. And I'll walk a couple laps, in the backyard. And we've got several inches of snow right now. And so I've made this trail through my backyard. And I don't have a ton of property or anything. I think my house is on less than an acre. But I have, some big these mature maples in my backyard. And so I have this kind of winding trail that goes around the backyard. And I have a climbing wall back there. And so I touch the climbing wall. And when I walk by and I tell the girls we're out walking and they're playing, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 3 laps because today it's like 14 degrees outside. But when I go and do that and I get outside into the expansiveness of the sky and the trees and the crisp air and the snow on the ground and the dogs are playing, my numbers soar. So breathing and then self-care. Now, what can you do for self-care? Like, I also love cleaning, and I have a ton of Harry Potter toys, don't judge me, and Legos and Funko Pops. And so I have them, in a room and they're on the shelves. And so I like rearrange them and I dust them and whatever. That also helps to ground me. I'm taking care of my space, thus taking care of myself. And in that process, I become more grounded, more connected, and I just feel more balanced. From there, what you can do is, what can you purposefully do to raise your numbers? So you always check in. I am a huge advocate for checking in. I have a lot of clients that are asking me, they ask me questions like, what does this mean? And what should I do? And I'm like, I just check in with yourself and follow your guidance. And so from here, you say, okay, what number am I at now? I've breathed in, I'm feeling much, much better. I've gone outside. I've done a couple of things that really, I've gone and taken a shower. I've taken a bath. I've lit some incense or a candle. I've done maybe some exercise. I've done some yoga. I did a meditation, whatever feels right to you in that moment. My numbers are much better. Is now elevate even more. What could the numbers look like in the next couple of minutes on purpose, with purpose? Meaning, if I'm a 7, What would it take for me to be a 10? Like, how do I really just get over the cusp? Once you can start working in that space, like, here's where I'm at, here's how I'm feeling right now. I went from a 1 to a 5, now I'm a 7, I'm feeling really good. What I want to do is go solve the problem. I'm going to say, don't do it yet, but now push yourself all the way to the top. Go just a little bit further, a little bit more than what you've done in the past. Go just a little bit more. Get to the place where you can feel gratitude and joy. Whatever you have to do to get there. Watch something funny, move your body. I don't know, something that would really excite you, really elevate you. From here, my friends, is where you can see a new perspective in solving the problem. So I have this program that's coming out soon, and I'm like, I gotta figure this out. Like, I'm just pushing and choking and kinking the hose, and I'm not coming up with a solution. Well, no shit, Jen. You're not going to come up with a solution from there. You can't. So I have to elevate, feel good, get in that creative space. And then I get out the whiteboards and I get out the markers and I play some nice music and I close myself into my creative space and I do a podcast. I'm like, I'm a freaking 10. I love my podcast microphone, my new headphones. I love it, love it, love it. And now I'm a 10. And already I'm not even done with the podcast and the ideas for the program are starting to flood in. This is what I'm talking about. Now, you may not be an entrepreneur and you're coming up with a program. You may just need to you're solving your parental responsibilities to your kids, or you're trying to train your dog, or you're looking for a new job, or you're trying to remedy your relationship with your spouse. It doesn't matter what the problem is. That's my problem right now as an entrepreneur. That's what I'm struggling with. And this is what I did. And now the problems that I was having, the solutions are coming forward. This is the power of going inward and giving yourself a little bit of grace. Now, you can always journal, but if you're journaling from that lower vibrational state, I'm going to ask you not to journal about the problem, because all you're going to do is feed it and give that the momentum. That's just going to create more problems. If you are going to journal, if you love journaling, I respect that. If you are going to journal, state the problem in your journal, and then ask yourself questions about the problem. How long have I had this problem? Can I solve it from here? What are the best outcomes that I could even come up with? Why am I so mad about this? Where did this come from? Right? Asking yourself questions to giving yourself perspective and giving yourself those shifts that will help you to elevate. This is all about elevating. Giving yourself just enough space and grace to allow the solution to start pouring in. There are 3 ways to communicate. I have mentioned this a couple different times in a couple different podcasts, but the first is our mind, and that's where we spend most of our time. And the unfortunate part about our mind is the energy behind it is very weak. You cannot communicate to the universe through your mind. Okay, so it's my mind, then it comes down into my body. The more emotional I get, the more my body feels it. So I'm communicating it down into my body. That's where you can start communicating with the universe. Okay, that's just like when you get up and you stub your toe and you're just like go off the rails and you just keep going and you keep talking about it and you keep fretting about it and upset and you're complaining and you just keep recreating more and more. It's because you're in your body. And when your body is ringing and resonating with a certain vibration, you are immediately magnetizing those same vibrational experiences to you. Which is why when you say an affirmation, I'm thin and fit, but your body doesn't feel it and it doesn't resonate with it, you're never going to be thin and fit. That mind energy is so weak. It's not going to make any changes, but it's when it gets down into the body. Now, there's a reverse communication. There's a third form of communication, and that's your intuition. That's where the solutions come in. So I have to, basically, when my body gets so loud, my mind and my body are just resonating and I'm in this high triggered emotional state, intuition can't get in. It's knocking at the door and I can't hear it because I'm just off the rails. So when I can calm my body and my mind down by doing some of these other techniques, then lo and behold, intuition starts knocking at the door ever so softly and going, here's an idea to help your parenting problem. Here's an idea. Here's a person you can pay attention to for your health needs. Here's a person who can help you with your marital problems. Here's some ideas for your coaching program. And then guess what? My body resonates. An idea comes in and my heart just melts. And I'm like, yes, that's it. It's perfect. Right? So my body is the middle person. It's like the middleman or middle woman between my mind and intuition. But understand that if my body and my mind are so out of whack, I cannot hear my intuition when it's speaking to me. So let's just recap real quick. This is having a little bit of grace when you are in a highly triggered state. First, recognize that you're in that highly triggered state. And this is just a temporary. It's temporary. It's temporary. It's temporary. It's temporary. It's temporary. Okay? You cannot solve the problem from here. So don't try. Don't try to solve the problem. Don't talk about the problem. Don't try to solve it. You can't. You cannot solve it from this space. The next is to breathe in deeply. 5 belly breaths, holding at the top just for a second, just to really get grounded and really get present. And then 5 chest breaths, again, holding at the top. 5 of them, just getting present. This is going to raise your numbers significantly, I promise. Then from there, it's all about self-care. What can I do to raise my numbers? What can I do in this moment to just care for myself, just to give a little space, light some incense, do a meditation, go for a walk, right? Do some yoga, pet the dog. I don't know. Whatever raises your numbers. And then the last little boost is I did that thing. I took a shower. I played with my Harry Potter stuff and I took the dogs for a walk. I'm a solid 7. I'm going to go solve the problem. Nope, not yet. I want to get my numbers all the way to the top. So it's a final push. It's the sprint at the last tail end of the 5K, right? It's the last 3 hard reps of your bicep curls. It is the last push to get the baby, to show up in the doctor's hands. Okay? It is the last push. Try that. What can I do to get all the way to the top? And then from there, my friends, watch the ideas and the solutions and the healing start to enter into your body. Thanks for listening. And if you made it to the end of this episode, I'm really proud of you because that tells me that you're dedicated to your own transformation. If you are looking forward to other episodes, please send me a friend request on Facebook under Jen Mack and follow my page so you get notified as soon as another powerful episode drops. Also, if you are inspired by my podcast, please share your opinion in a review so others can be inspired too. Keep going, growing, and transforming, and keep looking for those nuggets of inspiration.